The Fly Fifer Podcast. Let's talk. Your chat, your way.
Hello everybody, welcome along. It's the Fly Fifer Podcast. It's me, James. I am missing Alan today, but I am sat here with Paul, aka The Bampoet for TikTok. First things first, Happy New Year everybody. It's the first podcast of the year. I've got a few folk lined up, but Paul, I'd been talking to since mid-November, late November, December. Obviously a busy time of year to try and get anybody to sit around the table and talk pish for an hour or so. But I find Paul, aka The Bampoet, an interesting character from social media because he's no, like the rest of us, we're all there, you know, doing our wee thing and our own wee thing our way. But Paul adds a wee spin to his thing, and I find it interesting, and it's he adds poetry to it. So, before we get into the poetry, though, I want to know a bit more about the man because we've never met before. This is first time we've exchanged a few messages, and it is, you know, your name's Paul. Where are you from? It's like, Silla, what's your name? Where'd you come from?
My name's Paul. Faye Paisley, on the West Coast, kind of on the outskirts, a wee place called Linwood.
You ken all the best fifers are for the West.
That's what they say. But I more or less grew up in Linwood all my days. I had a wee spell in a place called Bridge of Weir, which was further out into the countryside. My dad worked in a leather factory there, so we kind of moved there. Yeah. And then my mum and dad split up. My mum dragged us back to Linwood, where her mum and dad was. And that's it. Lived in Linwood up until, well, I joined the army at 16.
Right.
So I kind of moved away, obviously, but obviously, only leaving that, you return to Linwood.
Aye, your hometown.
Your pals were, your mum was.
You've got the bag of money for the night out and everything like that. Aye. Been away for weeks with other men, it's time to party and stuff like that, the young guy.
Yeah.
Come back with all the clays probably and everything.
No, you can you come back like a tramp and then you go and spend all your money
on the clays.
You go up the tune or whatever. But and then once I left the army, I'd done 12 years in the army, and then once I left, I moved. I kind of wanted to move back home, but before away from family, but have them close enough that if I needed them, you know, they're only half an hour down the road. So I actually moved into city centre of Glasgow, and I got a job working with Glasgow Underground. Right. And I've kind of been there ever since. That's nearly 20 years now. So.
Right, and that's, you're still working on the Underground?
There,
and driver, conductor, engineer?
Engineer,
right.
Called like technical crafts person, but it's I maintain the rolling stock of all the trains.
Right, so it's the trains you work on, is that right? Fine, aye. My brother-in-law works on the trains, but he's in Edinburgh at one of the yards. He's like a gaffer out there, keeping all the trains running and that. But you work in the Glasgow Underground, don't you?
Aye. The toy railway is the
toy railway.
Might call it.
Is it? Right, okay.
That's a big railway.
Aye. I've been on it a couple of times. It's an underground, it does what it's meant to do.
That's cool. That's
perfect.
Much to it,
where did they fix them then? You're no under the ground fixing them, are you? Is it?
No.
They'll have land sort of comes out.
Just in Govan, the trains they have a ramp. We come up, they drive out of the system into the yard, and then
you fix them.
In the workshop there.
Right. Okay. And do you ever have to go down and rescue?
For breakdowns, rescues. You kind of go down there. But it's not like a regular occurrence, you know. It's maybe once every couple of months, maybe once.
Right. How do you find that with all is it like full of rats and? No.
It's not too bad. I mean, I suppose if you were down there for any length of time,
right?
No, you would probably see more. But we go down, we walk the if it's stuck between two stations, you'd walk the length of the tunnel. You're really just kind of focusing on getting no trip never.
Right.
And get into the breakdown and then get on the train.
You're not thinking about it.
And then try and get it recovered as quickly as possible and back out again.
Keep them running,
That's it.
So how many years there?
It'll be 20 years this year. September, I think it was.
Must be a good job. Keeps you.
It's I like the job. I like the job a day.
Right.
Not necessarily.
Right.
How it's managed.
Hey,
I don't know how many people would agree with that.
Listen, every lifer that's done 20 years on a job will be the management, none of the flavour of the month.
No, but I've been there that long now that you kind of obviously you kind of know the job less inside out.
Aye.
So you're comfortable there.
Aye.
And that's well paid in that, and that's what it is.
Yeah, interesting job. You know what I mean? I would say.
Aye.
But yeah. So prior to that, was the army? Was it army then to the job in the underground, or was it? So 12 years in the army anyway. Let's talk about that.
Aye.
We'll go back the way for a wee bit. Aye.
Yeah.
So army, 12 years. What were you in there?
I was in the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers. So I joined up to do a trade.
Right.
And that trade that I picked was an armourer,
right.
which is a weapons engineer.
Right. Okay.
Kind of pigeonhole yourself,
Right.
Well, you, by taking that job, it's it's really specific. So
right.
When you leave, you don't realise
right.
your trades.
What did I do for
you?
you?
The experience now, So
right.
as much as your qualifications that I got, my CV looks great. But when I was going to interviews, they were like, "What experience you got?" I'm like, well, nothing on production lines or anything like that. So I struggled to get a job when I first came out of the army.
Right.
And then basically I seen the job for the railway in the evening times or something, and it was for selling tickets in the stations.
Oh, right.
And I just wanted to get off the brew.
Get a job.
It was day and I'd been on the brew since leaving the army 5 months or something. And I was getting,
the holiday was over. It was time to get back to doing something.
I was just for my own heed.
Sanity.
I needed something to get up for in the mornings.
Yep.
Because I was kind of just fanning about, and because in 12 years in the army, you had this a piece of paper on a board. It was your regimental orders,
right.
And that was telling you what you were doing every single day, all day. So you kind of knew there was a plan.
I was going to actually hit on that. Like, did you find it when you come out that the I hate to say the regiment, but the what's the word for it? The routine of
structure.
Someone always telling you, ABC, you're there at that time, you're there at that time, and you'll sleep at that time.
Aye. And you Rivali was it? When you wake up time, 6:30 every morning.
Mm-hmm.
You get up, get washed, go to breakfast. 7 o'clock in the morning, you'd meet outside your billet. You would clean.
I've got a mate, I say, and he come out the military, a similar sort of time, 10, 12 years, and even at that amount of time, he come out and he says, I feel like this charged battery that's got no release. Because there's nobody saying, go do this, go do that. No, I'm no made to go climb that hill, or I'm no stripping doing a weapon. I'm no running with the boys. I'm no clean. And quite even now, he'll freely admit that, unless you tell him to do something, or he's ordered to do something almost, he's like still sitting there.
Absolutely. I mean, that's, like I say,
he finds that really hard.
Yeah. Even after 20 years, I'm still very much regimented.
Right.
What do you call it? Now, the institutionalised part of it for 12 years, I haven't managed to shake that off. I still have like a military humour. Which
doesn't always serve you well outside the military, but
it doesn't translate well in Civvy Street a lot of the time, I still struggle with that. No, so much, but it's still a bit.
It's still hard
an adjustment. It's just.
In your 12 years, did you serve anywhere? Were you medals for going here, there, or were you?
I done the very first. Once I had done my apprenticeship, after 2 years, I got sent to Northern Ireland.
Right.
For 2 years.
I'm sure you've done a bit of poetry about that. I'm sure there was one that was maybe relating to that.
Aye.
Can't mind the name of it. It was a wee inkling.
Aye.
I actually thought for watching that one, I can't mind the name of it now, and I do apologise. But actually, for watching that, I thought, I wonder if he's been in the military. I think that's what that one was about.
I think that was just about my first joining up.
Aye.
And then after 2 years in Northern Ireland, I got sent to Germany. Right. The regiment was where they in, because when you're Remy, you get attached to different regiments. I went to Northern Ireland, but I was attached to the Welsh Guards.
Right, okay. So you're like their support, sort of
Aye.
That squadron, or is that squadron? Is that what you would call it? Or
Company.
Companies,
different ones have
that company support.
The Guards were a company when I went to Germany, which was with the Devon and Dorset Regiment.
Right.
They were companies.
Right.
But then when I moved to another place in Germany, when I was in the tank regiment, then they become squadrons.
Squadrons, right.
Right,
right.
so
Okay, it's funny, eh?
They're the same, but they just have different
sort of
terms,
names, terms.
Yeah.
Aye.
So when I went to Germany, within about 2 years of being there, I done another 6 months tour in Northern Ireland. I got sent back to a different area.
How did you find Ireland? What was your take on that? Aye.
I loved it. I mean,
The
first sort of 2 year post when I was there, you were kind of when you go to Northern Ireland, most of them are 6 month tours.
Right.
You have like maybe 6 regiments that go and do, or 6 postings that go and do a full 2 year. And
so when you went to Ireland, that was 30 years ago or thereabouts, so
90, I would be 90.
Aye, so that'd be quite in the thick of certain situations, eh?
I mean, it was not as bad as
made out
80s.
Right.
I think when I first went there, like 93, 94,
right, okay,
was the start of the peace talks.
Right.
Although the peace talks were going on, but there was obviously certain factions that didn't fully support it, and there was still stuff getting on. I mean, aye.
But still, at that point, not too bad. No.
It's probably quieter, but it's still, there was still incidents, So
yeah.
But I enjoyed Northern. So we were there for 2 years. So even although the Welsh Guards guys would go out and do patrols and support other regiments in different parts of Northern Ireland, you still got time to go out and experience the local life. So though you had curfews, but we were, you were allowed to go out at the weekend and have a drink in the local town.
Right, okay.
But so we had certain freedom.
Right.
But I enjoyed it. I liked the people.
Aye.
I think being Scottish helped.
Aye, I was going to say, do you think that helped some?
The guys that were Welsh and English, when they go to the town, they stuck out like a sore thumb bean. So they were definitely soldiers.
You could have been there visiting family, or absolutely.
So I enjoyed it. And
being for the West, you've got the right accent, Scottish as well, so something that they'll probably recognise a lot easier.
It was good. And then, so when I went to Germany, and they were looking for volunteers to go back and do a tour, and I put my phone up and volunteered, just because I enjoyed it first time. It was a different, because it was a 6 month tour, that was it, you were confined to camp, unless you were doing operations like delivering supplies maybe, or having to go into some of the remote locations where the companies were, or the platoons might have been, and maybe they might have a weapons issue that I'd have to go and then basically repair in the field. Right. So you were, but it was totally restricted. The 6 months, you couldn't really spend any money, or go and have a drink.
Not bad for the bank balance. So.
Well, that's it. You come home and you think you're a rock star and got loads of money, so it's right up.
It's ideal.
Within a month, you're skint again.
Right.
But I enjoyed Northern Ireland. Done 6 months in Bosnia as well.
Right. Okay.
Can't remember when that was. Maybe 99, maybe something like that. So it was after
all the troubles.
But we were still there not as part of the United Nations, but we were there as a kind of peacekeeping force still, but no under United Nations.
Right, okay.
So,
anything else? Any Afghan or Iraq or anything like that?
I left
just before it, or
2003, 2004. So
right.
The regiment I was leaving then I was back in the UK then,
right.
In Catterick in Yorkshire with a regiment called the Royal Regiment of Wales. I seem to get attached to loads of Welsh regiments. I was doing my nutting. Excuse me. What was I saying? So what was I saying?
We're getting attached to the Welsh regiments.
Aye. No. So I was doing in England. Christ, I can't remember what I was saying. No. I've absolutely lost it.
Well, we'll move on. We'll move backwards again. We'll go another wee bit backwards. So, you joined the army at 16?
Yeah.
Right, so that was 12 years ago. You come out of there 28, I'm imagining?
29.
28, 29.
Yeah.
So let's go back to this, the and again, this isn't I'm just delving into who you are. Prior to the army then, you've said that Mum and Dad were at Bridgewere, and then back to Linwood as a separated family, and then how did your schooling and everything like that, how did that affect you? Was it neither here nor there because Mum and Dad were sound, or was it like myself, I had a bit of a nightmare when my mum and dad split up because you seen the podcast, so I mean I was too young to really recognise it, but how did that part of your life go? Was that all right, or would you say that was something that drove you into that army? Or?
I don't know if it drove me into the army. I think.
And by the way, you don't need to talk about it if it's
No. I think I was 10 or 11 year old when my mum and dad split.
Right.
And it wasn't a good split.
Right,
you know
okay.
What I mean? It was it was a lot of my dad talking bad about my mum would talk bad about my dad, and we were stuck in the middle.
Stuck in the middle, yeah. And then you end up telling beef sets what they want to hear. And it's like that.
So I it probably, don't want to say it affected my schooling. I wasn't really particularly great at school anyway. Right. I just wanted to play football and hang about with my mate. I didn't really want to be educated. I wasn't the top of the school, education wise, and I wasn't at the
bottom.
Dummy, you know what I mean? So
you were just getting by as you do.
And I wasn't like a bad lad, but I was. I wouldn't say I kind of went off the rails a wee bit, but no, nothing. Just loads of fighting and angry.
Aye, right.
Just angry about the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't great.
Right.
And moving to Linwood, although it was only like 4 or 5 miles now, but it meant my mum and dad didn't drive,
right.
So it was meant like bus journeys. Your dad, or your dad would meet you in Paisley or something, and it was only like, I don't know whose idea it was, whether it was my mum's or my dad's, but we only really got to see him once a fortnight at first, I think.
Right.
Which I mean, just for a few years, and then kind of went to once a week, but again just for a few years. So it wasn't great, because I was close to my dad.
Right.
I'm the oldest of 3.
Right.
And me and my brother Kevin, who's 3 years younger than me, we were that's my dad's wains,
Right.
So we'd see him once a week, once a fortnight. A few years, and it was pretty rubbish.
Pretty hard on you, if you look up to your old man, it's.
I was like my dad's boy,
Aye.
I was also a bit of mummy's boy. Well, not mummy's boy, but I always felt like I was close to both of them.
Right.
So I didn't like the fact
so you felt torn.
Each other. I just didn't like it.
Proper torn between the two.
So it just made us angry, which would end up, I'd be fighting all the time.
Shame, isn't it? It's a shame that stuff like that happens.
Aye.
And it's always something, because it happened to me when I was young, exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And I always said, I'll never do that when I'm older.
Aye.
3 fucking times.
Right. Aye.
No, and I've often questioned myself, am I the issue here?
Yeah.
But I just think sometimes you just meet and settle down too quickly with the wrong person. Sometimes I think that's what it is. And then adults being adults, what we know now, the life we didn't know then, is for some reason, like when two hearts break, they don't break even. There's always this argy-bargy. And unfortunately, the wains are the ones that get used as the weapons, you know what I mean? It's a shame. It's a shame. I don't think either parent mean it.
No.
It just fucking seems to be a human thing.
Well, that was it, right?
Aye.
My whole family's made up of broken marriages.
Right.
So, I was
It's funny, mine's is, my mother's is the only one.
All right,
The rest of them were all together for other days.
Was it,
But anyway, interesting.
So, although my gran and my grandpa on my mother's side, well, together sort of until they passed away, but that was my gran's second husband, I think.
Right.
So I class that still as a broken marriage at one point, and so I'd always had it in my head where I was 12, 13-year-old that I wasn't doing that. I was never getting married.
Right.
And then 2 years ago I proposed to my missus, Carol, so we're actually getting married this year.
Brilliant.
So I just think, like, after 10 years, you've been together, we've had our hardships and that. There's no wains involved, which is good. But I just thought, well, after 10 years, this is the last year I'm going to be with. So the plan is get married. Live happily ever after type thing, So, that's it. So, although I said I'd never do it, I'm going to go ahead.
I always said I would never get married. And then I got married, way back, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it lasted 11 months.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
How long did you know the lasted before that?
Oh, we'd been together since we were about 21. And this was 29, So we, like you, I was getting to that period. Aye. We had the two wains and everything, and it was like that last-ditch attempt almost, right? If we get married, maybe that'll fix it all. But, it was 1999, and I always said, well, that was my millennium bug. Because by the February 2000, that was us going our separate ways. And that was us after that. Prior to that, we had more comebacks and, I don't know, the Osmonds or whoever, the multiple comebacks.
Doing something like that doesn't really, if there's issues there, doesn't really fix it. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. But the marriage thing, I think I'm definitely up for it. I definitely want it to happen in my life. I didn't want to be married, but there's a huge chunk of my life since then where I've you need to be something special for me to pop the question. Well, see, my missus kind of, I always say, like, I get her, you beat me down, because she would mention it at least once.
She's going to watch this.
No, I know, well, maybe she'll know. It was like, I would always say, I've never had any plans to get married. We've been together 7, 8, 9 years now. Why does nothing has to change? We're not doing it for any reason. Why? I just want your name, kind of thing, And I kind of, like I say, after 10 years, I just thought, you know what?
It's been right. It's been the right time for you, Paul, and you'll probably love it. And that'll be you. You'll sail off into the wind, and that'll be it.
Yeah. I don't expect nothing to change, It's
exactly,
just, she'll be Mrs. Cather now, and then that'll be it, So
that'll be you.
That's it. So, that's the plan for this year, anyway.
It's good, Well done. So, shall we come right up to date and find out what's going on? So, you're working for the Underground in Glasgow. You're living here in Fife, which is, many of us would say God's country. But
I would agree.
I'm biased because I'm a Fifer. But I mean, I didn't even live here. I've not lived here for 30 years. It's really, really bizarre. Most of my family are off of the West. I was like the fly Fifer, the only one in the family that was for Fife, unfortunately. So you're here in Fife. Was it the wife that brought you to Fife?
Aye.
Is that you met her?
I met her, we kind of met online.
The wife to be, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah, well, she's still, I kind of refer to her.
We tend to do that, don't we?
But no, we kind of met on that online dating agency. I came through, see what the fuss was about.
I rang it, by the way.
No, I kind of fell in love, I guess, you know, and then I love everything. Where she stays, we place called Lower Largo. Beautiful, you know, like
it's beautiful,
almost like the biscuit tin kind of wee village, you know. It's like big viaduct runs through the village, and the hotel and the pier, and you know, I only really live like a 10-minute walk, maybe that down to the sea line, you know. So it's beautiful, and found the people in the village great, dead friendly, which I wasn't used to, because obviously living in Glasgow, I live in
or any city.
You know, I live in a block of flats, high-rise flats, and then basically I had lived there for 10 years before I met her, and I still don't know. After 20 years, I don't know my neighbours. You know, there's 3 other houses on my landing. My flat in Glasgow.
Weird way to live, innit?
And I don't know them. I don't know their name. I'd say hi to them if I passed them in the landing. But I don't know them. And then when I first came out and met with Carol, after maybe just 2 or 3 dates with her, it was like half the village knew me. You know, people were shouting across there, "Hi, Paul," and I'm going,
"Who's that?"
You know,
and she's been talking to somebody in the local cafe or whatever.
She worked in the local shop at the time.
Right.
So she was telling everybody.
So everybody knew you before you knew them,
that's it. So I found it a little bit bizarre at first, but I really enjoy it. So
it's funny that city life, like you say, Glasgow, Edinburgh, it doesn't fucking matter. All cities, I think, are the same. Where you're stacked up on top of each other. And 20 years, and you wouldn't know who lived, you know, underneath you or underneath that, or because all you do is that nod in the morning if you see them, you know.
Well, funny thing was, like, when I first moved into the flat in Glasgow, I think I'd plumbed a new sink in, but then when the washing machine was on or something, I flooded the wee woman that lived below me, right? So she was up.
You get to know her then.
She was up banging the door. "How you doing? You're flooding me." Sorted it out.
Right.
Had met her a couple of times, talked to her.
Right.
I think Mrs. Boyle, her name was.
Right.
You know, and she was a lovely wee woman. And then just, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe. I got a chap at the door. The police were there.
Right.
And they're going like, "Do you know your neighbour down the stair?" I says, Mrs. Boyle. No, it's a young guy. No, it's Mrs. Boyle. I've been here 20 years. No, it's Mrs. Boyle. We've been there. No, a young Polish guy.
Right.
I say, I've no idea when if he moved in then. Did you hear any disturbances? Apparently he'd been murdered. He'd been murdered.
Right.
He was in a wheelchair apparently. No, I hadn't even clapped eyes on the guy in the lifts and stuff like that. And I think they had been drinking one day, him and a group of his mates, and I think one of his mates had stabbed him or battered him to death, whatever it was. But obviously, and I was working that day, but I was, I might have been sleeping, I might have been on shifts or something like that, but I was like, what? Bizarre. I was like, where's Mrs. Boyle gone, you know? I'm worried about somebody.
Paul, like, what happened to her?
I thought it was Mrs. Boyle that I liked. So that's the only person I knew in my building, or know in my building.
That's mad. That's a mad society thing, but the cities seem to breed that, They really do.
It's not healthy. You
know? No, definitely isn't that.
You know, like I say,
that's why I've got out. You've got out. I've got out now. You know, and there was a period of time where I swore by the city just because I was from the small town. Well, the Fifer, it's just an offshot of the city, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, back then, before I moved over, it was like, you know, it was a big city. Oh, look at this! Everywhere's buzzing all the time. It's buzzing all the time.
We like the hustle and the bustle. You know, we like the fact that there's always something happening.
Always something going on.
There's things today, today. But the reality is, you don't know empty.
You know,
even in you can say, "Oh, there 20 years."
It can be the busiest place on the planet, but the loneliest place on the planet, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely, man.
Very strange. So, I love it through here. Love it. I don't. No keen on your accents, but you know.
Neither.
Jahur, sir. And you know, I kind of slag my missus all the time. You know, But she just calls me a Ouija, but I'm not even a Ouija. I'm for Paisley.
You're for Paisley.
But so...
But anything sort of west of Bathgate, or Hart Hull, anything west of Hart Hull, you're a Ouija. Because you got the twang, that's it. And
that's good.
There's certainly, I've had it where folk, you didn't sound like you're 55. Fucking Glaswegian parents, lived in Edinburgh for 30 years, what you got to sound like? Now I'm in Livingston. In Livingston, honestly, I've got a mate that grew up in Livingston. And when I was in the city, he spoke a wee bit properly and everything like that. Don't know why, don't know how, that's just how it happened. And Chris would talk to me and he'd be proper. And then I would hear him talk to his mates where it would start going a wee bit west. And I was like, you're fucking confused in Livingston. You don't know whether you're for the east or the west.
No.
And it's very, very true that people in Livingston, no offence, by the way.
No.
It's just, they seem to be, depends who they talk to what accent they adopt. It's bizarre.
I see, being in the army for that long and serving me, mostly English and Welsh.
Yeah.
People feel that I had to slow down my accent and speak more probably. So even now, 20 years I've been out, I still probably say more than I say aye.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So my accent's probably never returned to what it used to be, but it's certainly maybe not as rounded off and as English. Slow down. And
you'll find yourself speaking to people where you actually slow down because you can see in their eyes.
That's it.
Fuck's you on
about? And stuff like you try to put your phone voice on.
Exactly. So right back up to date. You're getting married next year. We've heard a wee bit about the wife. You're in Fife, God's country, and we've got to get into this. The Bampoet. This is how I stumbled across Paul. Yeah, absolutely. Stumbled across him on TikTok, where I've stumbled across so many people on TikTok. And it just, and you do, when you find something, that's interesting. And you just flick through. So I've probably watched, I would think, all of them. But there's only that couple that stick out. But, so, why poetry? Why? It serves you well. So as somewhat a voyeur, or whatever you want to call me, I hear it and it sounds good. You articulate it very well, and it comes across, pretty good in my opinion. My opinion's whatever. But so why? And what?
The idea, no real interest in poetry up until 5-6 years ago when I first started. Other than Burns, but my mom's family were off of Ayrshire.
Right, okay.
So, and my grandpa and my Uncle George would constantly draw Abby Burns.
Right, okay.
Constant. There was pictures of Burns and paintings of Burns all around everybody's house.
Right, okay.
Or painted by them, so. But I was never really into the poetry side. I'd done a couple of recitals at school and stuff like that.
As you do,
but never really got into it big time. I remember being in the army and a poet came, I think he was from Manchester, I don't even know the guy's name. I wish I did. I thought his poetry was brilliant. He was an ex-drug addict, homeless, and it was all kind of up to date with that. But it was kind of in the style of similar way, just council speak, I call it, just scheme talk.
Scheme talk, real life.
So you can relate to it. So I enjoyed it. His boy had a book. I never bought the book. I wish somebody did.
If you see him or know him, get in touch, and we'll get you in touch with him, or find him on TikTok, the Bampoet.
What's your name again?
Your book. What's your name? You made an impression.
But then you went to that presentation and you walked away. And you talk about it that day. That was brilliant. That day was brilliant. And then the following day, it's forgot about.
Right.
So again,
such is army life. On to the next. Right. It. Today we're.
And then I think once I left the army, I remember I used to like. I still like punk music.
Right.
So I was watching a documentary and John Cooper Clarke
came
on and reeled off a couple of poems. I thought he's fucking brilliant. So I went to HMV or something and bought a CD, listened to it for a couple of times, and then filed it away, forgotten about it. And that would have been, like I say, maybe 18, 19, 20 years ago.
Right.
And then it was, like I say, maybe 5 years ago, probably with there was a spell on the telly. Well, you maybe know if you don't watch the telly.
Aye.
There was a spell on the telly where almost every advert was in kind of poetry form.
Right.
And I enjoyed it. I was like, and then there must have been something
in you, I think.
It just went, and I think it was, like I kind of said before, I was kind of struggling with the transition for even like 50.
Identity, maybe looking for.
Well, I was just struggling. I still hadn't fully adjusted,
right,
in 87th Street, and so, and mentally I wasn't really in a good place,
right.
And so I had this idea where I wanted to write. I thought, every soldier's got 100 hilarious stories.
Yeah.
100 shitey stories that
Right.
don't really talk about.
Uh-huh.
But I thought, maybe I could. I'd always thought about just writing some of them
Pen
down.
it, aye.
But then I don't want to write a story.
Right.
Then the idea clicked. I thought, maybe I could write a poem.
Aye.
And then I thought, excuse me.
Aye.
If I wrote a poem, I didn't want to rhyme.
Right.
I thought rhyming's for Wayne's.
Aye.
Nobody really rhymes if you want to be taken serious. Not that I wanted anybody to listen to it. It was all really for me.
Yeah.
But then I just didn't have the ability. I'm not, like I say, I'm no stupid, but I just don't have the words and
the vocabulary.
Intelligence.
Aye.
My really limited vocabulary.
Aye, you've got your own sort of. You hit on it yourself. The scheme life. The a boy for the streets.
That's it.
Rather than any college professor or whatever.
So,
Aye. But it's good.
Aye.
And
so it's just
that's probably what talks to so many people because it's real. It's no made up. It's no a facade. It's no. It's real and it's how we talk.
Yeah. But after a couple of days, thinking about how I would put something down on paper, I end up just writing something daft on Facebook about. I think I was drunk one night and I wrote on Facebook something like, I want to write a poem, but I don't want it to rhyme. But I don't have the patience and I don't have the time. So it was kind of stupid, and then people were like, I'll go for it, and I was like, fuck, man. And then I was like, maybe I could just rhyme. So then I thought, what can I write? And I can't even remember really what my first poem was, but I found it hard to write about for the heart when it was something serious. So the idea of writing stuff about the army and my life, I found hard. So I put it to the one side and then just wrote the funny stuff. I've been funny-ish since I was away, and that was easy to come by. So funny rhymes just came, and then all of a sudden, I couldn't do nothing but think and rhyme when I didn't even want to rhyme.
When you didn't.
But so everything was in a rhyme. If something popped in my head, I was like, I wouldn't rhyme with that, and then I'd type it into my phone, take notes, and then I'll stitch all this shit together. And like I say, most of my poems are daft. Mostly poking fun at myself, or a few people that I work with. I've done poems about them,
right?
Because I've done something stupid, But then my missus, if you talk to my missus, she'll say you should write more of your serious stuff. Because I've done a few. Once I had wrote
my bird's arse.
Well, she had said to us how you should write me a love poem, thinking about a serious one. So then I done my bird's arse. And then every other a love poem I've done, I think I've done 2 or 3 now. So tongue in cheek, and having a dig at me and having a dig at her. And she's like, for fuck's sake. But she finds them funny, So I always kind of run. Ones like that, I'll run by through her. So,
before you.
Before I maybe say it before.
Oh, it's definitely. If it's a release of any kind and it empties an active mind, then it's got to be quality. And do you find yourself with little notepads sitting doodling away like poetry, words, rhymes, whatever you want to? What do you call it? Do you said you didn't want to be the rhyme, or you did. So, what to you? What is it? Is it just? Is it poetry to you, or is it just?
I don't know. It's just daft. I suppose it is poetry. I mean, once I get into it, and then I would maybe tell a few people, my mates at work and that, how would you think of this? I mean, initially, I was writing them just for myself. I didn't think anyone would be that interested, But then, people say, "Oh, that's really good, Paul.
You should get that."
And then
you should do this, do that.
So that it encourages you to write more. And then so I'd have them all doing, and I think one of the boys in my work said, "Oh, you should go to an open mic night." I was like, they don't hang me for poetry, do they? I didn't think that was a thing. And then I kind of plumped up the courage one day. I thought, well, if MD will like it, it'll be people in Paisley that like it.
Right, okay.
So kind of sort out one.
So they actually have open mic nights for poetry, right? Okay.
Bizarre.
News to me. I wouldn't have thought without seeking out. I wouldn't have thought that.
No, there's actually loads of it's actually quite a big scene.
Oh, right.
So I was like, I went back to this one in Paisley, and I was absolutely bricking it.
Right. First year.
The first year, I absolutely shiting it, and went in the room. This week, kind of intimate space a bit. Like, a wee bit, maybe twice the size of this, but not much bigger. No. And I sat there and I shat myself the whole time because, once a couple of people had stood up and done their poetry, I realised my shit is lowbrow.
Right.
This is. They were all smartly dressed, cravat type of wear. And I'm going, I'm fucking Paisley, man. What the fuck's this? So, and the whole time, maybe there was 10 poets, and they all stood up, and there wasn't a swear word said. I think one guy might have said shite,
right?
And I was like, no. So I absolutely shat it, and I never went on and spoke. And then, like I say, my missus been through here, we looked if there was anything in Fife, and there's nothing in Fife even still.
Right.
There's no open mic or sort of poetry platform.
There's a call in there then.
Well, there's one guy in the village, I think he's trying to organise something for there, but so the closest place was Dundee.
Right. Wait, before you go to Dundee, get back to where your first night. How did it go?
Well, I didn't do it.
Oh, you didn't? Right,
no,
sorry,
I
maybe missed that wee bit.
I just shat it, and I went back.
Purely.
The lassie who was running it, like, oh, you want to? I was like, nah, I'm alright.
And that was because you felt yours was of a lower standard. There was language.
My language is rotten.
Right.
I swear every second word. It's that's just, I'm a scheme boy.
Yep.
So I just felt like I was out of place. I thought this isn't for me. So bricked it and then drove back home.
Right. Kicking yourself.
Annoyed myself because I thought I should have just fucking brought the whole level down and done my thing.
That's it.
But I didn't, and I shat it. And then maybe a month later, I had went to this one in Dundee.
Dundee one.
It's called Hodgepodge. If anybody wants to go up to that, you find them on Facebook. But I went to this, and it was in a pub, so it was a different environment. This one in Paisley was in a coffee shop, in a back room in a coffee shop, so it was right tucked out the way. This one was in this pub, and people
straight
were just
away
drinking.
You're going into your own environment.
Well, that's it. So, and then my missus had came with us as well that time, so she didn't come to me the one in Paisley. And then I had a couple of pints as Dutch courage. And a few people had, it's mostly students up in Dundee, and the poetry was good. There was a few rhymers there. We just sitting there and thought, right, okay. Like the one in Paisley, there wasn't a lot of rhyming. So it was, to me, that was your highbrow stuff.
Right, okay.
I don't even know how it becomes a poem.
It's almost like storytelling. Without the rhyming.
What makes it a poem when it doesn't rhyme? I don't. I've not looked into even still how that becomes. But a few rhymers up in Dundee, a few swear words, settled me down again.
Yeah.
And then a boy I had followed on, I seen him on YouTube, I think it was. Because I was looking for people that done the same kind of style as me.
Aye.
So I was typing in, scream poetry, street poetry,
right.
punk poetry.
Aye.
And I found this boy, Mark Richardson, and it right strong Dundee accent, swore, talked like me.
Aye.
And he actually attended that night, and I thought he was fucking brilliant. And I thought, I'm gonna have my shot now.
Aye.
So I stood up and I done a Buckfast poem. I might have done Marmee poem about drowning at 16, and might have done My Bird's Arse.
Right.
And people laughed
Aye.
when it was a funny bit. I got a big round of applause, and I couldn't fucking the rush I got.
Aye.
It was like, holy, that's fucking brilliant.
People like this.
Aye. And then people were coming up and talking, going, is that your first time you've stood up and did? I was like, aye. That was brilliant, man. That's brilliant. What else you got? And they're like, well, I've got nothing really.
Aye.
And the boy Mark came talking. He's dead friendly, dead encouraging. He was like, can I give me some pointers about trying to do my poetry?
Right. This is a boy off of YouTube.
Aye.
Right.
Really sound guy, nice guy. And obviously then, I encourage you to go and do more. So actually then, the following month I returned to Paisley, and I thought, I'm just going to fucking do it.
Done it.
And I done it. I done the same 3 poems, all the same swearing, everything the same style. They all laughed, and then got really good feedback for them.
Right.
After I had done my whole set of swearing,
Aye.
a couple of other people stood up then and then started to rhyme off some poems that were swearing. I was like, I ain't fucking swearing 2 months ago. So
I've started something.
I broke the seal. And so
they've probably been sitting there going, yes,
finally.
fucking here we go.
But it was brilliant. And like I said, they were really everybody's really encouraging.
Aye.
And so then that was me. I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to go and do more of these. I'm going to do them in Glasgow, Paisley, Dundee, Perth. Never done any in Edinburgh. I don't know what it is. I never really had the time to go to Edinburgh. No,
Wouldn't even be able to tell you.
No.
Because until I seen you, I wouldn't have known that it was even a thing.
Aye. So I had done a few things, enjoyed it. It encourages you to write more, so you write more. Because I was getting such, when people found it funny, like, I've got to write down more funny ones, so that kind of pushes you on to do that. And then I had done it for maybe 3 years or something like that. I'd been doing it since COVID hit, and like the open mic stuff had to shut down.
Is that what maybe pushed you on to like say TikTok or something?
I had when I was first doing it, I had created a page on Facebook, and I was putting up videos there and my poems in text form. I don't know, you probably maybe don't know if you're just watching
I've only
TikTok.
I knew you had a Facebook because I think you've got something in your bio about it. I can't remember, but I never bothered searching you on that.
My poems are I write them how I talk.
Aye.
So they're like when I say poem, I'm spelling it Poyum.
Right.
You know what I mean? So actually, it makes you think. Obviously, your natural instinct is to write everything down in English,
right? How
it's meant to be spelt. But then you go, well, no, how do I say it?
Aye.
So you need to write it down phonetically.
Aye.
So do that. So then I had this page on Facebook. I was putting up my text poems and engaging the feedback for the end. If people really liked it, then I would try and learn it.
Right.
Off by heart, and then I'd do a video for it, and so I just encourage you to do more. And then, so I'd had that on Facebook. I'd done a YouTube one and all, and then COVID hit.
Right.
COVID put a stop to all open mic nights. And then I tried to do one of these Facebook lives.
Right.
And it's just weird, it's you're getting no direct feedback.
It's hard, that, isn't it?
Aye.
Yeah.
And there's a delay on it, so you're getting likes scrolling up the screen,
Aye.
but you're maybe laugh or fast, funny faces, about something you've talked about 30 seconds ago.
It's hard, isn't it?
I just didn't feel right, so I done it once and that was it. I was never doing it again. And
no, that with the Facebook Lives as well, I've probably told this story before, was we doing these roller disco things. We were getting like hundreds of people coming to different events all over Scotland, and then COVID hit, so we thought, get a bit of wood for the living room, let's have a disco at home.
Aye.
You know, and out of all the hundreds of people that come every other weekend, we put a live thing on. Right. 3 turned up.
Aye.
You know, so it just didn't work. And I know a lot of comedians, like, it just doesn't work. There's no laughter, there's no this.
No,
and like you say, the delay kills a lot of the humour.
Aye. I mean, I buzz off the reaction you get in the room.
Because you'll feel it standing up above it, and it'll be hitting you, you know. What you're saying goes out and bounces back after them. And
so I kind of missed that, and then I felt because I wasn't going to these open mic nights that I wasn't inspired to.
Right.
Because sometimes you would go to these open mic nights and somebody would mention something, or they would do something, kind of a topic, a poem on a topic, and you'd be like, well, I could fucking use that.
Triggered a thought and a process.
I could do a poem about that, or like that, or I like maybe a line that I heard in a song, or a line that they wrote. I could kind of twist that and make it my own.
Aye. Or so it would fit into one that you're thinking about. And
So, but the COVID put a stop to that, and I had, and then I feel like I've got writer's block even now. I think since COVID hit, I've maybe wrote 2 poems, which is weird.
Weird, right?
Like I say, and then like you said, I done that Scud Malloy. I forced that one out.
Right. Okay. Actually, if you get onto TikTok or wherever, is it on YouTube, that one? They're all on YouTube. So YouTube, TikTok, Scud Malloy.
Yeah.
Because it just filled my head through visions of being on the beach at Portobello and seeing, you know, Doug's running about with looked like double-end dildos. You know?
It's just like,
and then the Scud Malloy, it was like a wee boy in Methil running about, scudding folk with a double-end dildo. Whether it's a double-end or no, it doesn't matter. You've got to put that sort of funny image into somebody's head, you know. So, and what's funnier? Well, what's you know, a dildo's a dildo, you know, and people you maybe know have an idea of what might land up. They all look different, you know. But you know, but when they get a big 18-inch or a 2-foot fucking 24-inch double ender, you kind of. And there's a boy running about Methil with one. Yeah. And it's normal. And I think the thing that triggered that poem was I think I was watching because I referred to it actually at Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Right. When I think is it Vinnie Jones is maybe telling a story about this boy that runs a club. Right. Reaching there and battering somebody to death with a big fucking black double-ended dildo. And I was like that. So then I had grown up, I knew a guy called Scud. Right. Sex toy, Malloy, and then all kind of, and then that starts you off. And before you know it, you've wrote a couple of verses. Aye. And I shouldn't say verses because it's called stanzas or something. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know. I actually thought, like St Andrews has a thing called stanza. Right. And I think it runs for a week or a fortnight or something like that. Right. And I just thought that was some kind of play on the words of St Andrews. Right. And I didn't know what the ZA meant. Right. But apparently a verse in poetry is called a stanza. And I was talking to one of my mates in my work. I said, I wrote a couple of he went stanzas. I'm like, what? I was like, no verses. He went, stanzas. I was like, I've not got a fucking clue what you're talking about. But that's the organic growth. And I'm kind of quoting Alan here. It's hard not to at times, such as the conversations I have with him. But it's that organic growth within you, you know, because you're not interested in fucking how, why, or what they're called. You just do it naturally. It comes naturally. Yeah. But so let's say 2 years of not really writing nothing, and I thought everybody was on this TikTok thing, and I had that's for the Waynes. That's for the everything's for the fucking Waynes.
I had downloaded it a couple of times and set up profiles, and then fucking just came away from it. And my cousin Jamie messaged me one day. He says, "You want to go?" He says, "I've started a page for you on Facebook, on TikTok,
right?
And can I add your videos to it?" I says, "You do what you want." So he had done that, and then maybe 6 months later again, I've downloaded TikTok. I've seen a few people doing it, and I watched a couple of videos. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put a couple of my videos up, and I put a couple up. And in fact, I think the first one I put up was Jack and Jill. And again, that was just a daft one, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
Yep.
So, and it just rocketed up. I had uploaded it, and within me leaving work on the back shift and driving through here, so an hour and a half later, it is something like 4,000 views. So many likes and
so your phone's been going bing, 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 bing.
So I was like, what the fuck? So, and then I would check it an hour later. It's up to 10,000. You know, the next day it's 20,000. I think the new it's sitting on at 160,000 or something. I'm like, what the fuck? So again, I thought joining TikTok and putting the videos on it would give me a kick in the arse to get into poetry again. It kind of hasn't, to be perfectly honest. But I've kind of gotten back to...
Are we acceptance maybe that it's something that folk are watching and liking though?
Aye.
You know, alright, it's not motivated you, but it's... Alright.
It's kind of give me a wee kick in the arse, a gentle tap maybe, because I've now got a load of notes where I've got like starts of poems or ideas, but I've just never really extended them into full-blown poems as such yet. So it kind of had the effect I was looking at, but no, the following. But so I'm still just a Bampoet. I've not even since COVID dropped, I think I've only went and done. There was a kind of charity hang up in Dundee. I went and done. Excuse me. And I've done that one day, and then I've done nothing at all since then. Last year, and that was probably a year ago, around about this time. And it's just like I need to give myself a kick in the ass. I need to get back up. I like Dundee, and obviously because I'm here, it's easy. It's only half an hour, 40 minutes up the road, so it's handy. So I just need to get myself out. Back up to the open mics. That will get me back into the swing, I think, and maybe then give me the inspiration of listening to other folk. The trouble is that a lot of these open mics it's a hard listen sometimes.
Okay.
You know, not everybody is doing the same daft shite as I'm doing. Some people are talking about their struggles in life or incidents that might have happened. You know, and I'm using that as sort of therapy.
Aye. Which is hard to hear, I mean, hard to listen to, hard to hear.
One lassie was talking about, I think it was maybe her dad or her uncle sexually abused her as a wee lassie, and I fucking nearly broke me to tears. You know, and I couldn't. But then I've heard 2 or 3 poems kind of like that had no effect. This one lassie, for whatever reason, I was like, fucking unbelievable. And then her to have the strength to do that. So that's great. But when you're hearing ones like that quite a lot, some of them are not so great, you know what I mean? It's just fucking it's just another one about sex or your gender or something. It's fucking murder, man. And just because it's not my style, I want to be entertained. When I go and do an open mic, if I've got 3 poems I might want to say, I'll make 2 of them a funny one. At least, and then I'll hit them with one more serious one to show that you know I'm not just a daft cunt. I've got a serious side to it. Even on my serious ones, I always put a wee bit of humour into them. I try because I feel like sometimes they're a hard listen. You know what I mean? But so I don't, as much as I like performing poetry and doing it, sometimes I'm like, it's just brutal. You know? It's just like I don't enjoy going to listen to a lot of it sometimes. So I still, as much as I'm a poet, I don't fucking like it.
Aye, it's your own thing though. Aye, it's your own organic thing. Again, I say that again. Dare I ask? Do you want to do one? Would that be? Now that is flinging you under the bus.
Aye, I don't think
you do not have to.
I would do one. I don't think I'd be able to do it off the top of the head anymore.
Aye.
But I could do a poem.
Even whatever. You don't have to. But I think just for the authenticity of what we're doing today.
Anybody who's not seen us before might be giving an idea.
Well, aye, exactly. Exactly. So it's up to you. You go for it.
Like I say, I'd have to read it again.
Aye, go for it. So Bampoet is on TikTok. What are you on YouTube? Is it the Bampoet as well?
I think if you search Bampoet,
you find right.
So it's
Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Where's your biggest sort of following? Where do you want to direct people if they want to see you? Is it the YouTube channel?
Well, I don't know. Maybe, I've not really maybe get 20 subscribers maybe on YouTube. Right. So it's not like a big platform. So.
Right. Okay.
But if you watch a video, I don't get any money to it or nothing.
Aye, no.
But so whatever you've got,
if
you've got TikTok downloaded, follow us on that. If you've got Facebook, watch us on that. If you're on YouTube, follow us on that.
Wherever you can find you.
That's it. Yeah. I think a lot of my my YouTube stuff, like you'll see, like on TikTok, it's mere me just filming myself in the house.
Right.
Whereas on YouTube, I've got like performances I've done in different pubs.
I'll stick a few links when I upload all this to YouTube. I'll stick a few links to your social media on the description. So if you're watching when this goes out, just check the description. There'll be links there. That'll link to all your stuff.
Right. Don't know, I suppose.
To anyone you like.
So I done in fact, no, I'm going to do a daft one about poking myself, poking fun at myself, which is a few years old now. So I done one called Come Back Bobby. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I've watched a lot.
Right, aye. So this is, you kind of give the title, like, when you're on an open mic night, you kind of give a wee kind of speech about what this poem is. This next poem is about fucking this. So I was like that, I would say, this is a poem where, everyone in some time in their life has experienced love and loss in different various forms, and then I would say this one's called Come Back Bobby.
There you go.
So there we go. So it's been a few years since I seen my penis. My belly's got too big and now it lays atween us. I know he's still there, but we touch alone or the occasional photo with my mobile phone. My missus sees him and says he's fine. I'd love to see for myself, spend some time. So I'll need to do something, like lose some weight, exercise and stop drinking and licking my plate. I'd love to see him before I die. I better shed some stones or at least give it a try. Because it's up to me to put the work in. Although the missus said she'll help, she'll shag me thin. We had such a good bond, me and him. We can do again if I join a gym. But there's nothing can be done for saggy boys. That's just getting old. It's one of nature's flaws. So maybe by the next time, if you see me, I'll be a bit thinner, but still quite beefy. And with any luck and in a slimmer body, I'll be reacquainted with my Bobby.
My Bobby.
Yeah.
Superb.
So that was a few years old. That's 2018. That's 5 years old now. And again, it's just, I don't know what made me kind of just poking fun at myself. Obviously, if you were to look at me in the street, you wouldn't say, "Oh, he's an ex-soldier."
Right,
just this wee fat boy guy now.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of poke fun at myself. There's nothing.
It's like a middle-aged spread. We're all getting it. We're all getting it.
I think it's easier to poke fun at yourself. So that just came about that way, I guess.
Yeah.
I was in the shower and couldn't see my belly or something.
And it come out. It's fine.
That always gets a good response. That one. I kind of done a series of poems, but I first wrote How the Bampoet came about because when I got invited to a variety night where there was music, comedy, magicians, poetry, and I get invited. This guy gave me the opportunity to do this.
So is this where you got the name? the name for it.
No, aye. He had said to me, I'm going to put you on a poster. Do you have a stage name? I was like, no. And so I thought, maybe I'll think of one. Couldn't think of one. So I just put it in Paul Cather. So that was it. So my first poster that I was on was Paul Cather. So I was like, okay. And then I wrote a poem probably a year later called Superbam.
Right.
And then, so I was like, I wanted to be this aging superhero.
Right.
So, and I just seen I'm a Bam.
Right.
You know, a Bam is, a bit of a heedless fucking dafty.
Aye.
But it's funny.
Aye.
And I was like, okay, so that's me. So I'm this Bam. And then, so then Bam. And then, a Bampoet. And then I went, I could just bang an E in there. Because I'm a Bampoet. So, and that's how it came about. So I wrote this poem called The Super Bam. It got good laughs. And then, I don't know, probably watching Star Wars or some shit and going, I wonder if I could do a sequel.
Right.
So then I ended up writing a poem called Super Bam Returns.
Super Bam.
And then I thought, maybe I could do a trilogy, because I got good laughs. So then I done this trilogy. So I've got this trilogy of poems called The Super Bam, and then that's how I became the Bampoet after that, and got a fucking daft tattoo saying Bampoet.
Bampoet is a tattoo on you?
Aye.
Oh, aye.
So again, it's just it came in. I liked it.
Aye.
People go, that's fucking brilliant. And I'm like, how the fuck did I not think that before? And I was kind of
amazing what comes to you just through doing.
I was surprised that nobody had used it either.
Yeah. So you are the original Bampoet.
I think so.
Aye.
As far as maybe Scotland goes, anyway.
You're certainly. I've seen folk do poetry before, obviously, but never as how I put it is down to my level, down to what I'll understand, down to speaking like I would speak, and that's what brought me here today.
It's surprising. There's actually quite a few.
I mean, plug away. I mean, because there'll be loads of folk that didn't know. I'm not saying there'll be loads of folk watch this right enough, but there'll be loads of folk that don't know.
No, I mean, the stuff, the boys that I like is this boy Mark Richardson. There's another boy for Dundee. I can't remember his fucking name, but great poetry.
And now, how is the accent up there? Aye, so he's got the Dundonian, proper Dundonian.
And this other boy is broad.
Aye.
It's,
he's like the talk of war and everything like that. And me. Pez and aye. So, and
then,
do you ever see Wee Tam, the angry plumber guy for Dundee? He's never off of TikTok, but he's broad Dundonian accent. So I'm trying to imagine sort of poetry and Wee Tam's accent,
and there's a few up in Dundee.
I bet you, aye. And you've got to look at the Beano, Our Willie, everything come out of Dundee, and look how that was written growing up,
There's a lassie up in Dundee, Jem. I don't think she really does too much of the poetry stuff either anymore, but she's good. But she's got this broad Dundee accent, but doesn't really. But I think she's more like a social. She's great, like a social commentator type of.
Right. Okay.
She's talking about social issues in Dundee, and her stuff is brilliant.
Brilliant, right?
There's a boy in Glasgow, Oliver Pist.
Brilliant.
He's brilliant. His poetry is really clever, but he does what a poem called 101 Cunts, where there's 101 uses the word cunt in a poem, and it's fucking hilarious. But he's really clever with it.
Really clever with it.
But there's loads of,
because I'd watched one of yours on the way here the day, where it was it clever cunt or alright cunt? You'd use the word, and I thought, that's a perfect take on it.
I think it's just. Well, I think the poem's just I'm alright.
I'm alright is exactly what it was. Aye.
It ends as
I'm an alright cunt or something. Aye.
It's fucking. Your opinion is your opinion. I might think it's shite, but I know exactly who I'm. I'm a cunt, but I'm alright.
But I'm alright. Exactly.
Most people that would. If you were to ask somebody about him, he's like, he's a bit of a cunt, but he's a good cunt, or he's a cunt, I'll just tell you straight.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's different variations of cunt.
Different.
Probably more than one.
Aye.
More than a dozen, you know, just...
We are, aren't we?
Depending on who you talk to, you know, that's it, aye.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I'm a good cunt, funny cunt,
Aye.
daft cunt, fat cunt, bald cunt.
But you're
But
alright.
I'm alright, you know.
But you're alright.
I'm all the above, that's it. No,
So, for here, what, you've said that you've not really done much the last wee while. Is there any plans, or you just taking it as it comes? Just
plan is
whatever.
probably to get to a few more, go back to the open mics.
Yeah.
And even if I'm not performing, just to go up there and maybe get inspired.
Right. You say up there, is that Dundee again?
Probably
Is
Dundee.
that you find? Is that where you're finding it
I feel like really comfortable there.
comfortable there? Aye.
Because obviously I've done a few in Glasgow,
Aye.
but unless they happen to be on at night time and I'm working day shift,
Aye.
then
Right.
I can go.
Right.
But other than that, because when I'm not working in Glasgow, I live here.
Aye.
So
You're already travelling an hour and a
that's
half
it.
to get to
Well,
work.
that's it.
So
I don't
aye.
want to spend an hour in the pub
Aye.
going and then be back in through here at 12 o'clock
Aye.
at night or 1 o'clock so in the morning. So
Got you.
I'm saying up there, Dundee.
Dundee's
And it's
easier.
really comfortable. People are great. I love Dundee.
Aye.
I feel like Dundee is like a mini Glasgow
Right.
where everybody just seems fucking sound.
Genuine. And,
Yeah.
Aye. Welcoming and
Yeah, just they're like Glasgow people.
right.
So I enjoy that. You know,
Enjoy
I
that.
feel
It's home for
comfortable.
home. Aye.
Excuse me.
No,
But
no, no.
the idea probably is to try and find some ones that will fit in with my
Yeah.
shift
Right.
schedule and try and get back up there, try and get inspired, try and finish off some of the poems that I've started and the
Yep.
Lord Mass to finish.
Well, I hope you do. I hope you crack on with it.
Because I miss it.
Yeah.
I do, because obviously the buzz,
Aye.
standing up in a room full of strangers and making them laugh is brilliant.
And making yourself feel good into the
Yes.
bargain, you know,
Aye.
and
But it done a lot
being
for
that,
me.
you know, aye.
It done a lot for me, sort of mentally.
Mhm.
I guess just having some kind of release
Yeah.
that it wasn't boozing because
It's not boozing,
aye,
aye.
you know, so aye.
Well,
That's good.
Paul, that's us been talking for an hour and 12 minutes.
Perfect.
So I always kind of cut it round about the hour,
Yeah,
just
that's
because I
good.
think it's a lot of time to be sitting bouncing backwards and
Aye,
forwards.
aye.
So we'll sit back, take a break. But before we go, anything you want to plug to do with poetry or poems, because that
Aye.
will stick with me
Aye.
forever now.
Well,
A
that's
poem will always be POYUM.
Exactly. That's it.
That's the minute you said that, I was like, that fucking makes sense.
Aye.
That.
Who says poem?
Aye, nobody.
It's even hard for you to say. You know?
Okay.
So,
Poem.
aye. No plugs. It's just I'd been asked to do a couple of podcasts before
Aye.
over the years, and I just didn't feel comfortable.
Right. Okay.
Just again, probably in my head, you know, I didn't expect to maybe share stories or
Aye.
you know. Whereas I think when you reached out, obviously no knowing you
Aye.
was probably the main thing.
Yep.
Um,
There's no
yeah, total
expectations.
stranger. Whereas even although guys who have maybe asked me before kind of know me through the poetry scene,
Uh-huh.
I met and I chat and I, became friendly with them.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe the time was just right as
Just
well.
aye.
As
aye.
it-
I think what I find with talking to guys that I don't know particularly what I find is that you get so much more out of it.
Aye.
Like I do, you know, and I'm hoping that you do. You get something from it where you're not talking, you're not trying to sell yourself to me.
No.
You're just talking about yourself,
Aye.
and you're just talking about your life and the wee thing that I've caught that I'm like, aye, let's get that out there.
Aye.
I've not got millions of viewers.
No.
Going on what I've seen on social media and everything, I don't want millions of viewers either.
No.
Because it brings hassle.
Well, that's
You
it.
know, so
I'd rather not be. I wouldn't want to be
aye.
like.
And I appreciate the fact that you've spoke to me when there's others out there that you could have, and
Aye.
probably the watch at the door.
Well,
you know,
this has been great. To
Uh-huh.
be perfectly honest,
Aye.
hey, James, it's been brilliant, and wasn't too sure what to expect,
Aye.
but I've enjoyed it.
Aye.
I know
And if it kicks your ass to go and do something,
again,
happy with
exactly.
that.
Aye, James,
Paul,
thanks very much.
thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
I usually play us out with this, I think. Aye. It's just my wee outro where I usually blather over the top it. But no, I appreciate that, mate. It's been brilliant.
Aye, thanks for fighting the zone.
Aye. Well, I'll get this edited, get it out, be out in the next week or so, and see what happens. And I'll probably carve a few bits up, chuck it on TikTok and various the Fly Fifer Facebook page and that.
Excellent.
That's it. Usually finish with saying, say goodbye your way.
Cheerio.
Cheerio. Adios.
Cheerio fucking
Cheerio fucking. Adios, amigo.